Hey guys, I'm back. You've seen me sitting here in this exact same shirt because I just did a taste testing video with Mountain Dew. I figured I'm going to knock out the 3 birds with 1 stone. So I live in a little place called Hebo, which is nowhere. Perfect. About 15 minutes away is the city of Tillamook. And yes, it's the same Tillamook. If you've got their cheese or dairy products, that's where they're made. And there are cows all over the place here, because they raise them for milk for the... Anyway, in the city-town geographical area of Tillamook, which is really lovely, by the way. It's like when I went to a training exercise in Alaska. I went to Red Flag, Alaska. Like, I can't remember what year. I was there a few times. Walking around Anchorage, I said to myself, and this was in the 2010s, I was like, wow, the 90s just got to Anchorage. Awesome. Well, you know, 10 years later, the 90s have just gotten to Tillamook. I might upset people by saying that, but I say that in a good way. It's a very quaint, very friendly, I don't know if you'd say small town. It's a small town. Certainly not a city. Not to a city boy raised in New York City, in Queens. It's not a city. But anyway, they have some really great stores there. They have everywhere is a farm and feed or a hardware store or a sporting goods store. So you can get a lot of cool stuff at a lot of different places, and video ideas for days, weeks, months. But there is a particular sporting goods store here in Tillamook, and they had some interesting things I just haven't seen before. I've got a really cool, outdoor field utility knife we're going to look at in a little bit. There's some other things I just didn't get because I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. I got a coonskin cap, because why wouldn't you, living in the Pacific Northwest, get a coonskin cap? I don't know. So the thing we're going to look at today is Coghlan's Survival in a Can. Haven't seen this before. $14.99. Things are a bit more expensive out here, so you might find it for less. I don't know. But it's basically a sardine can full of basic survival stuff. And I figured, let's open this up. Let's take stuff out. Let's test a couple things and see if it is worth the $14.99 price tag that I paid. And then we can talk about in the comments if you can find it for less, which you probably can at a bigger chain type store. So we're going to get into this. And since we're doing outdoor survival, I'm going to the Holtzman, to the Hornet, which is such a great outdoors knife. Big and bulky and D2 and very comfortable, and have a review of this thing. And I'll put a whatever in the whatever you can click. Tree just came down. Things I didn't hear in Pennsylvania. So there's a list of everything that comes in it, and we'll review that list. But later I'll show you here. Here's just everything, in order. But I just want to get into this, and I want to check it out and see what we got. I would like to make it clear that while this is a stump, this is not in the stumpy family. This is just another stump that was here. Wasn't selected for anything, but we're going to thank it for its convenience and use it. So let's get into the contents are right there too. Very lightweight. I couldn't estimate right now in ounces, but less than half a pound, probably less than that. I mean, like way less than that. So takes up a little bit of space, doesn't weigh a lot. I was just thinking it would be cool if this had something in it, like you peeled the top off and maybe your survival mirror or something was right there. But this can be useful for other things. And we're going to use it as a base for testing some fire starting stuff. Why not? So what is this? Duct tape. You've got a length of duct tape. Just generic type, which, you know what, can be I've seen it used in combat. Not combat, but combat environment as a can't think of it as putting over a dressing on a wound. You can repair stuff with it. So duct tape is good to have. I can't argue with duct tape. I mean, we are trying to see if this is worth the $14.99 it costs, but what do we have here? This is just a plastic bag, a little sandwich baggie, which again, so what can we do with this? This could be an occlusive dressing if you need it for somebody, chest injury or something. We were trained back in the days before cool chest seals and stuff, when I first went through medic school, you used a piece of plastic or somebody's ID card to seal a suction chest wound. This could easily do that for you. Or lets you carry some stuff waterproof. And, you know, Master Sergeant Tom Crusette, United States Army Special Forces, was one of my survival instructors once. And he said, you are limited only by your imagination. Of course, he said that related to the question, how many ways are there to kill a man with a pen? But I think it still applies to what you can do with this stuff. You are limited only by your imagination. We've got a book of matches. I don't know if these things are, what does this say? Keep matches away from children. Okay. I don't know if these are waterproof or what, but I have said before, and I swear by this because I know it works, swallow a match head a day. It's enough. It won't hurt you. It won't cause you ill effects, but this little bit of sulfur will be processed on about the second day of swallowing match heads and come out in your sweat. And a lot of different bugs will smell that. They smell the little chemical things and will stay the hell away from you. I learned that in survival school, and it's worked. I've tried it. I've actually tried it. So, you know, in addition to fire starting, there's something you can do with that. Then we also have, and I'm not sure why, so we've got matchsticks. 4 matchsticks? 4 matchsticks, and we've got the book of matches. I get it. These can be little bits of kindling because it's wood, so you let it burn through. But it's just interesting that they give us 2 different types of matches. I don't know. Got a razor blade. So in the wilderness, you've got a cutting object. You can also use this medically for stuff. You can, I mean, who knows? Like I said, you can use this to, it would be a pain in the ass to do, but do a little wood processing, get some little shavings. Just a standard, you know, safety razor blade. I'm not going to take the cardboard off because I know eventually I will cut myself open with it. Because that's what I do. Because I am clumsy. But, you know, good to have. Now, this looks like some little accessory rope. Not obviously, this is not going to be weight bearing. You're not going to use this for anything that needs to hold any weight except maybe, you know, a little cup, a little tool, but certainly not your body weight. And I have to say that because there are people who would be like, "Oh, good, I'll go rappelling with this shit." I want to see how long it is. So, I should have brought a tape measure. You get maybe a foot and a half, 2 feet, 2 feet, possibly 2.5, 3. I don't know. Not a lot, but enough to work with. And it's nylon. You feel it's nylon braided cord. Okay. Little pencil, which can be a weapon because you are limited only by your imagination. But taking notes, writing things down, I mean, that can be very important out in survival. I don't. This is uncomfortable for me to use. But at least it's there, and then you can use your razor blade to sharpen it back up when it gets dull. So we've got that. This looks like the inner string from 550 cord. I swear. I really think that's what this is. So a lighter weight, smaller cord, and I have used this stuff, and I'm not saying this is a good, or when I say it's good for this or it's good for that, or I've used this, or I'm not trying to say the opinion overall of this thing is good. I'm just letting you know the individual things one by one. I have taken these strands out to use them to tie down little tiny things. Repair camouflage net, to secure little items to bigger items, because it's easy to tie a little knot in this. However, you got to burn the ends, because this is kind of, I don't know how to describe it, almost slippery. If you don't tie a really good knot, it will come out on its own, all on its own. But like any other nylon, you can burn the end and it melts and you can smush it together and it sticks. And a zip tie. Now, I don't know if the zip tie is supposed to be part of the kit or if it's just holding this together. And the truth is, I don't really know much what you would do with a zip tie in a survival situation. I'm sure there are uses if you take some time to think about it, but there it is. Another little, well, okay, let me put that aside. If they have sewing equipment, that's great. That fits. A whistle. A ballless whistle. This whistle has no balls. Alright, this is a fail. Yeah, I guess if you blow hard enough, it makes some noise. For signaling, saying, hey, here I am, help me. Or distracting from some other situation. to get things to go off in a different direction. But then you're in that direction, so. It's a little tea light candle. I don't know if it's made of anything special besides just wax, any special kind of wax or whatever. But gives you light and a little bit of heat for a little while. And then melted wax, which you could use for various things. What could you use it for? You can use it to the melted wax to seal two ends of something together. You could use melted wax for a few different things, and maybe that would be a separate video all on its own, but you got your little candle. These appear to be two little fire starting blocks. The standard budget fire starting, it's a stick about that long, but they cut it down. But these have always worked. From my youngest days camping with my dad, these have been fire starters that I've used, and they've worked. So we'll test them out. Let's take a look at these fire starters that come in the tin. And I know we haven't taken like a direct close look at other stuff that came in the tin, but this is something that we could really do a good test with and check out and see how it works. So I'm going to start with just the matches that come in this. Let's see how well a piece starts. I know it's shadowy with some tree branches, but I needed to get some shade. Let's just start with regular matches. I said let's start with regular matches. Thank you. Not bad, but a little bit of wind blew it right out. Blew it right out. So, not great. I'm going to put a couple pieces here together because I want to use a ferro rod, just for the hell of it. I don't know. I don't think this is going to catch very well with just sparks. I think you need more just direct heat right on it, but come on. I'm putting the heat right on you. Nope. These things will not start with just sparks. And I see sparks are landing directly on them. It's just, they're very compressed. They're very compressed pieces of whatever. So they're not going to start up like that. Which is probably why they gave you all the matches. Let's try one of the matchsticks. And like I talked about before, let's put them on this. I talked about using this as a fire starting base. This is kind of slippery actually, but let's go for it. These are coated with a jelly to keep the wind from putting them out. Oh wow, look at that, that burned right up. We have it, yeah. There we go, so that lit that one off. Now, maybe those matches burn a little hotter, burn a little better because of the jelly coating. But now you see the wind is not putting it out. That's cool. I want to move you over. Lisa's base lets you move them over real quick. Because I have the UCO Storm matches here, which are amazing, amazing matches. Let's just see how quick it lights up using this. Can I get a fire? Thanks. No, still needs a little bit of time to catch. I forgot, you can't blow those out. Still needs a little bit of time to catch, to actually do anything. So whether you're using storm matches or regular matches, might as well save your really good ones for when you need them. And use the regular matches. Not very smoky, little tiny bit smoky. Nearly not as smoky as some other fire starters. I remember making intricate connections, like, you know, stacking these, cutting these up, stacking them in different ways to like light the campfire from 20 feet away with matches and these fire sticks back when I was a kid. I don't know what I thought I was doing, but it was fun at the time. So yeah, these burn pretty well. So together you've got a little tiny compass and some brass wire. And it's got to be brass because it's not affecting what the compass does and where it looks. So, little compass, little tiny thing, but still liquid filled, so it's going to be nice and smooth. And then the brass wire for whatever you may need it for, in the field repairs, making traps. I don't know if how good brass would be for making traps. I've never done it with brass, but you've got a little length of it. Come on out. Okay, there we go. So, sewing needle and thread. Now the thread, yeah, you could use on its own, but makes a lot more sense to have a sewing needle so you can repair things or stitch things up. You could actually suture somebody with this externally. I mean, you could do it internally, but you're gonna have to go in later. Somebody's gonna have to go in and remove these. You can't leave this in the body. But you could do that with this. We've got a couple of fish hooks, and so whether you could use, I mean, this could be fishing line. You could use it for fishing line. This could be fishing line. I don't know how strong it is, like what the tensile strength is before it breaks, but you got 2 fishing hooks to use. 2 safety pins, one larger than the other safety pins for, you use this if you've got to rip some clothing to make a sling and a swath. You could use this to secure it. You could use it to fix broken clothes, or you could even make a modified, infield compass with one of these. So lots of things you could do with safety pins. Are we almost done? I can't get this stuff out, is the problem. I want more stuff. Give me more stuff. Oh, God. Okay. So I guess this is a signal mirror, or you could also, if you're really good, maybe you could use it to direct some sunlight onto something. If you could focus it, I guess, but does it get hot? I'm feeling heat. I don't know, maybe it'll work. But a little piece of, it's probably mylar signaling material. What's this? What are you? You're a, oh, piece of paper. All right. Piece of paper to go with your pencils. Take some notes. You can also burn it if you need to help start a fire. Couple more twisty ties. And were there 2 nails or 1? I feel like there were 2 nails, and one of them might have rolled away. But a nail you can use for, I mean, again, limited only by your imagination, but let's say you want to secure one of these ends of line, to nail this in something, like with the back of your survival knife, for example. Might not work so well with a Mora, but with a heavier duty knife, you can then put it in there and anchor some cord to it, or use it to fashion some kind of shelter, or whatever you need to. I really think there's another one and I lost it. I feel like there was 2. I saw 2. Might have rolled off stump when I wasn't looking. One of these things that I don't really like, but in a survival situation, I would use it. Multi-purpose pocket survival tool. It's got a little saw, which is probably the most survival-oriented thing it has. You can use this to make sort of a sundial if you know what direction to place it in. This is kind of a blade, but not entirely sharp. Little pry bar, a little bottle opener, ruler, and some little wrench inserts. So you might want to use this, who knows. And let's see what they say. Survival tips. Survival tips about how to use some of the stuff. Meanwhile, this can could be used to collect some water, which is cool. Under very low heat, you can boil some water in here. It'll take a while. But it's cool because then you can use this as a cup, as a plate, again, as a base for fire starting, all sorts of stuff. So, interesting little collection of stuff. Great use for the plastic bag, cleaning it all up after your video. What'd you guys think of the kit overall? We can discuss the individual things that came in it, or we can discuss the kit itself. All the different, like the sum of the whole, $14.99. Did you expect more for $14.99 for $15? Did you expect we were going to get less? Do you want to comment on the quality of what's in there? Just tell me what you think. I'm curious to know. It's not the world's greatest survival kit, but it covers a lot of the basics and a lot of the bases of those basics. Again, I think we could probably find it for less somewhere. I think we could probably find it if we looked around for less. But to have that all self-contained, not a bad thing. I kind of think that the best kit is one that you can put together yourself to fit your personal environment and your needs. But if you're looking for one that's pre-made, I don't know. So I want to hear from you. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know. We'll have a fun, good discussion. If you know something cool that you can do with any one of those things that you want to share with everybody else, go ahead. And, you know, we might have the same thing shared 3 or 4 times, or we might get one brilliant tidbit that no one's ever thought before. Whatever. So thanks, guys, for watching. Looking forward to discussing this in the comments with you. Remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.